Hi,
Hi,
Kiran.
how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good too.
Good. So, just to introduce you to everybody. So, last week I put out a little thing that I want to go live with somebody because I thought it'd be really nice to give different people a voice. And this young lady, I had quite a few actually, and some were just, Hunji, I want to go live, not what I want to talk about or anything. Just, hi, I want to be live. But Kiran, it's a young girl who's 18, Kiran, right?
Yeah.
She sent me the most amazing summary of what's been going on over the last 3 months. So with the farmers' protest, how she feels about it, and how she feels that it's really important that people her age talk about it and share their experience. And I was so overwhelmed with her confidence and level of understanding of what was going on. I just thought we have to go live together. So hopefully this is going to help you reach more people,
Yeah.
and share some of the things that you've and hopefully what I would really want to see is you encouraging other young girls to speak up.
Yeah.
Because I think within our community, within our Punjabi community especially, we don't give our girls a voice.
100%.
And I think it takes 1 in every 10 to break the mold, come out, be confident, go out and learn. But I really feel that we are really lacking on that front, and our females need to be nurtured to be able to have a voice, to have the confidence, to have the hunger and the passion to know what's happening to us as a community on a global level. So honestly, Kiran, I've said it to you privately on the phone, but I really, really was so happy to get your message. And our daughter, 18-year-old Umrit, she's done a video previously, and we'll talk about some of the experiences that you've had when you started being vocal and talking. But she, being 18, some of the messages that were sent to her when she made a video just stating the basic facts. So there is a lot of hostility, and I think we need to nurture our next generation. We need to nurture our females, especially because you guys are going to be the mothers for our future generations. I know that's probably a long way for you right now, but from my point of view, if we don't nurture you guys, then we've lost the battle already, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So welcome.
Thank you.
How are you feeling?
Youngsters, this platform, I feel like that's a really, really good thing you have actually done, and I would encourage everyone else to bring this forward.
Oh, got a proud mummy here. Is that your mum?
Yeah.
Okay. See me. I think these are your friends. Okay. So that's Ravi in the back. So okay. So what prompted you? When you saw my thing, what did you think? Oh, I want to go on there. What was it that you wanted to share? What was it that made you message me to say, give me a voice?
What brought me forward was actually the fact that I'm looking, of course, I do follow other people as well, and I'm seeing people are speaking about it, but I feel like people don't have the actual understanding of it. And I feel like in my generation, in India and even here, it's so important that they actually do spread it. Like, I don't see why people aren't into this much, because it affects everyone. Even if we're here, it affects us equally as it affects those people in India. And I thought, you know what, I want to do something where those youngsters that are in India, those parents are scared to, fact is, parents are scared to send their children there because they don't know what's going to happen, but that's not how it should be. And youngsters, I feel like India, I'm mainly doing this for everyone in India as well as here, but my main focus is to get a message out to everyone in India, all the youngsters, that all those elderly people in India, they're there for you. It's up to you. You guys need to step up, remove the fear that you have, because if you don't stand up now, the whole all of India, not just Punjab, Rajasthan, UP, or the whole of India, wherever farming is, they're all going to become slaves. It's literally, if they can't have a minimum support price to their crops, then what are they actually going to have? Eventually, they're going to be brought off, and they're not going to have left, and that actually really hurts me because I have family in India as well. I don't want to be seeing my family or other families in India 10 years time drowning in debt already. There's so much debt.
So, Kiran, I don't know you. We've never met, so I don't know anything about your background. But we've just had a brief conversation prior to this on the phone. So, when have you always been aware of what's going on in Punjab, or is this because you started seeing this in the news and the rallies that took place here?
No, the reason why I'm so connected with this and why it literally, it's like a heart, it hits my heart very hard, is because I'm used to going to Punjab. I'm so connected with Punjab. Literally, I love Punjab. If I had the option to go and move there forever, I would literally take the option. Yeah.
Even now, after you're seeing everything?
Even now, like, I feel like Punjab literally lies in my heart. Even though I'm British born, I'm born here, everything. Literally, Punjab is everything to me. I find that's like so precious to me.
And you've got family there, right?
Yeah, I've got family there.
And at what point did you start becoming vocal and start talking to people around you about this?
Okay, this was at the start of the rally. Of course, when I heard that these bills have been passed without, of course, the farmers being aware during the COVID period when most of India was in lockdown or they had curfews running, and then of course to know that these bills have been passed on the television channel, I think it was Raja Sahib, that would normally play whatever discussions are going on in Parliament. When I found out that this was muted, that really hit me like, this is not right. This is completely wrong. Of course, if there is bills that would like to be considered by the government, I believe that there should be a system where, you know, farmers are actually voting for it. That there should be some sort of system. It can't just be like a law's passed, there you go, it's on everyone. That's just the way I believe. That's in my opinion.
So in a democracy, obviously due process wasn't followed, right?
Even India is branded as the world's largest democracy. Of this matter, there's not been any demonstration of that.
So Kiran, when you've spoken to your friends about it, and you know, people your age, your peers, were they aware, or is it something that you've been raising awareness, and how have you been doing that?
I feel like, okay, if we're talking about other people, I feel like they are aware of it, but I feel like there's so much in the farmers' protest that not everyone's aware about. They know little snippets of it, but not everything. And I feel like everyone should be knowing the main parts of farmers protest, what's going on daily, because it's not just a one-day thing. Oh, there you go, let me put a post, that's it. No, I know people are sharing stories, but my main message to them today would be that make actual posts. Don't think about your feed is going to be, it's not going to look nice or whatever, because those hashtags you use, each post holds an importance, you know, because as the number of posts with the hashtags increase, the more better it is for us to create awareness, the more that comes up into other people's profiles.
So talking about those tweets and hashtags, it was the hashtag from Rihanna, right, that just went whoa across the world. So social media is really powerful, and your generation don't know a world without social media. So obviously, you know, it's your best tool for you, isn't it? Yeah. So what sort of questions or what sort of misunderstandings have you seen amongst your peers?
I wouldn't say there's particularly misunderstandings. I would say that there's not understanding. They do know there is quite a lot of, you know, social media accounts that are making posts, sharing them. They do go viral, but I feel like everyone really needs to be connected with this, understand what these bills are, what they mean, the advantages, disadvantages, everything needs to be known, and what's happening there on a daily basis. Everyone should be aware of it. You know, there's been many demonstrations of police brutality, and you know, everyone needs to know. That's the way I feel about it.
And do you think people are shocked when they see images of elderly people being water cannoned, or, you know, is it just, oh, well, that's India? Because we're a generation that grew up with the 80s, so we've seen all this before. We've seen lathi charge on the elderly and women. For your generation, I know, talking to our kids, they're like, whoa, what's going on, right? And they've had exposure to it, the happening of 84 and what have you. So how do you think the younger generation here outside of India are understanding that element of police brutality and state brutality?
I wouldn't know how to respond to this question. I would say they understand. Of course, they know that these people, you know, elderly people are being hit by police. They understand that. They know what's going on. Or that previously, all the time, police do use force that's not necessary. They are aware of that. But I feel like it just needs to be. It's like one moment everyone knows. Just because, let's say, there's a picture of an elderly man being shared, everything's gone viral. It shouldn't just be like that. Every minute, every day is as important. Because in India, even though we're not there, every day someone's dying, every day something's happening there. And also another thing that I just wanted to say, when there was a rally in London previously, just before the lockdown, you know, the restrictions had come down harder, there was people walking around going in cars. I was actually on my foot, and of course I saw other people from different communities looking out, saying, what is all this? Then of course I stopped and I showed them pictures. There was a page, Woman with Opinions, and at the start, when everyone had marched towards Delhi, she shared a post of, I think it was Nihang Singh, who had bruises and scratches all over here. You might have seen, I'm not quite sure. And she goes, I know about this, I've seen this. And I was like, this was just at the start of it. And I was like, oh my God, that's actually so good. Then there was someone else, and I showed the same picture to them. They're like, what is this? And this is how you need to educate people, because we need to just push this out there more. It's not like, I feel like today, if I look back at everything's kind of gone down. But why has it gone down? Why aren't people talking, you know?
Yeah. So on that point of you know, the news may be trying to be suppressed, what's we've had a question as well, what's your take on the media, let's call it the Godi media, so the media that's run by Modi and his cronies? How do you feel about some of the news stories that are being put out by them?
I think
they're terrorists.
Yeah.
You know, there's only a few hundred people there.
Yeah.
You know, with Khalsa Aid, we were called terrorists because we were feeding people, and we've had lots of inquiries against our team there and what have you. So how do you think people your generation feel about seeing this media coverage?
I feel like some youngsters, they would be influenced into believing what good media is showing. Some who perhaps have a bit of a deeper understanding, or are speaking to relatives that are in India, they would know about it and know this isn't right, ignore this. But I feel like good media is actually playing such a big part in directing the Morcha into the opposite way, because of course,
trying to.
Yeah, they are trying to, yeah. And I feel like that's completely not right. And I would appeal to everyone that is following good media, stop following them. Follow the real pages. There is so many anchors that are actually on ground. I know of one, Aziz Kaur, she's on there. I think he's also, you know, follow these people on Instagram, take their news, listen to that. No, don't entertain news that is biased, because of course there's also video proofs, you know, of these people. I think it was ZTV, they had sent one of the anchors just to show a bit of the mortar that was empty. Why? These are all tactics they're using just to bring the mortar down and just to demotivate everyone in India. I would say in India, I would say there's not that much. There is social media, but not that much. And when, of course, people are seeing this on their TVs, ZTV News, these are the main channels that are played there, it puts fear into people's, you know, minds. And that's not right. It's not completely right. Because if there's fear, that's it. You know, we need to, you know, bring ourselves up, have that strength, have our courage, believe in yourselves. What are you fighting for? What are you going against? You are going there against these 3 bills that have been passed that are fair and that are unjust.
So on the Godi media today, have you heard about the journalist that, so there's a journalist, when you come off, or anybody that wants to know, if you go to Rakshit Singh, he was a journalist with ABP News, he stood up and resigned.
Yeah.
And he said, I've been struggling with covering this negatively for the last 3 months. And he said, I've got a wife and child, and I was looking at how am I going to support them. But now finally I've decided that I can't carry on with the lies. Yeah. So that's it's a huge step for him. So we'll look at reaching out to him and seeing if we can offer any support through Khalsa Aid for standing up for humanity, right? Because now we saw Rajasthan, thousands and thousands of people standing up. We're now seeing the educated people that have got qualifications, have got degrees, they can't get jobs. So they're now speaking up as well. The movement has become a mass movement of the people against lots of injustices, not just the farmers. So, you know, this has given so many people with so many different causes a platform to speak up, which is really, really good, I suppose, right? Because people feel that they can raise their voice.
Yeah, and I think that guy actually resigned. I think that's a big stand. And you know what? The most respect, I give out so much respect to him, literally. You know, I think
Look him up. It's Rakshit Singh, hashtag Rakshit Singh. I'll see if I've shared it on my story, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so Kiran, I know you know about the bills really well because you've spent time researching them. Do you just want to give a little summary of what each one is, so that if anyone doesn't know, they'll be able to have a bit of an understanding from here?
Yeah. Okay. So the first one is the essential commodity. Just I apologize for making any mistakes. I did try to memorize them because I did know.
So the third one is the essential commodities.
Yeah.
So it's 1 and 2.
Yeah, and that bill gives government the power to regulate the food commodities, supply, storage, stock limits, and the power that the government has, it's removed. So the government has no say in where the food's going, where it's being stored, how it's being used. They have no say over that. The second one was the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Bill. That's where it allows the farmers to trade in places other than the APMC, which is the Agricultural Produce Market Committee. So this is like the mandis, where farmers normally go to the mandis and sell their crops there. So that means farmers now have the right to go wherever they like. Then the third one was the Farmers Agreement of Price Assurance and Farm Bill Service 2020. So this bill stands that there's no price. It doesn't prescribe a mechanism for price fixation. So these bills are not completely not in favour for the farmers, as much as there is talks on that they are. But if farmers don't have an MSP to protect them, they don't have one like dedicated place to actually sell the crops, then where is their security? There is no security for those farmers.
So the minimum support price, which is the MSP that everybody speaks about, that it's not written. So that's the thing, they won't give it in writing. So that basically means that a farmer will never be in loss. But if they get rid of that, then, you know, like you get negative equity on a house, you could actually end up losing money on a crop. So it could cost you more to grow the crop than you actually get back. So that's a fast track into more debt. There was one where they couldn't go to the justice system if they were hard done by, but they've now, in the previous talks, they've agreed to get rid of that, and the farmers can now go to court with any grievances that they have. So as you said already, Punjab's already in a terrible state, and farmers are suffering because there's been no development. So development is required. So you know, that's quite right. The farming sector needs reform. But there's a due process with reform, and you need to have a consultation period. You need to ask the people that are actually on the ground, how can this improve for you? You don't enforce bills, and you don't enforce bills that essentially open up the market to big corporate companies. So, you know, people speak of it in really easy terms. It's like in this country, the supermarkets have done out all the small shops. So where the big Tesco's, Sainsbury's have come in, the smaller shops can't compete. So they've all, you know, the high streets have all closed and what have you. So it's a similar scenario. So farming would be completely corporate farming. So the big companies would come in, they would tell the farmers what they want, you know, what shape, what size of potato they want. And if it's not that, they would then discard it.
I know.
So in Bihar, this has happened already. And that's why when they talk about people from Bihar coming to work the fields in Punjab, that's why, because this has already been applied in Bihar, the similar laws. And here, if you speak to farmers here in this country and, you know, other countries across the Western world, the farmers will say, don't allow this to happen, because this is how farming's been destroyed in other countries, right? So one thing you mentioned there is that farmers are free to sell where they want. So sounds good. But you need transport. You need the resources to be able to take your crop to a different state where you're going to get more for it. So if it's going to cost you more in terms of transport, diesel, time, No farmer's going to travel to a different state to take all their crops to sell it. So the infrastructure is such that anything that looks positive on the front of it, when you dig a bit deeper, you will see actually it's not practical. So you know, the protest is just, and they are protesting against the injustices. And because these are the farmers, and they know what's the you know, the state of affairs in the ground is, they know what they're fighting against, right? So these Godi media, these people from towns that come up and say, oh, they don't know what they're talking about, that really infuriates me, because I think this is their bread and butter. They've been doing this for generations, right? Yeah. Okay. So let's have a look. What else? So how do you think that we, as the older generation, so the middle generation between the really old and the really young, how do you think we can support our younger generations to learn more and have the confidence to speak up?
The way I would see is that I feel like the way that the medium generation can support the younger generation is by having discussions with your children. It's lockdown, you guys are at home anyway. Speak to your children, tell them, say, oh my God, look at this. Get them interested. As parents, I believe it is your responsibility to, of course, educate your children in these matters. Families, like in my family, we would normally FaceTime and talk about what's going on weekly. We have a group chat, we'll send whatever it is. Just educate one another. That's the most important thing you can do. Educate one another, you know, just get together, speak. Parents, you know, speak about it, involve your children, tell them this is this, you know, explain everything to them. I feel like parents play such a big role in what their children become.
Somebody's written, Modi is a heartless man. I think we second that.
Yeah.
I think it's just an idiot, really. Okay. So one thing I was going to ask you, so what about the emotional side of it? How are people coping emotionally around you, do you think?
Emotionally around me, if I talk about myself personally, it is really disheartening to see everything. One side, of course, being passionate about, you know, this, there needs to be a change, we need to spread this. There's another side that actually breaks my heart, you know, to see people, elderly people in the cold, you know, some people have everyone is injured, it's sore, people dying because they were in the cold. You know, now thankfully it's a bit warmer, but the situations aren't fair at all, especially for the elderly. And just to see that it's only the elderly people, not, there is youngsters there, I'm not saying that, but I feel like there should be more than what there is right now, you know. And it's just not fair on the elderly, because they're fighting for the next generation, but what are the next generation actually doing? Yeah,
absolutely. Brilliant. Okay, so we've had a lot of messages,
yeah,
mainly saying how adorable you are and how well done, so lots of encouragement for you. Brilliant. And I really do think you're doing, and someone said cancel ZTV. Okay, how would you guys pitch in international mainstream media in this, apart from Godi media? So international media, so BBC made a sort of a token gesture, didn't they? I do feel that there's been a huge letdown across the board. Sky News have been really bad. There should have been so much more. I don't know what they're waiting for to push out. And had it not been for social media, probably wouldn't have got out.
No, definitely.
Right. But you know, we're in a position where we're educated. We've got youngsters like you know, and most people do use social media in one form or another. We have been able to get message out there, and I think now more so than ever, we've got a bit of a plateau in interest. We need to push it more and keep it up there. And I think with social media, that's what we can do, isn't it? Just maintain that level of interest globally. Do you think?
100%. Social media is so powerful in today's generation. I think even the government, they're quite they kind of know the power of social media, because from my knowledge, I've read something today that they're enforcing new laws on social media. And of course, if there's something that's being that's classed as, I think it's anti-national, the originator's ID, email address, IP address is actually
so basically, if we were in India and a post came up that said Modi's an idiot, yeah, simple thing,
like it, yeah.
If you were to like it or share it, you can be imprisoned as being anti-national.
Yeah.
So what would you expect from the man that named the stadium after him? So that's going to be the next protest.
Yeah.
So it's just going to grow and grow, and I think it should have been nipped in the bud a long time ago, and he's allowed it to become what it is. And someone called Fabio has said, "We Hindus are proud of the Sikh diaspora. You guys are true Indians as you care for the people." So it's not about faith. It's not about Hindus. It's not about Sikhs. It's not about Muslims, Christians, what have you. It's just a humanity. And I think Punjabis, Sikhs, good people from across the world would be raising the voice regardless which country this was happening in.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's unjust. Yeah, so just answering that. I don't know how you feel about that. Modi cheated the people of India and passed these. Yep, okay. All right. Okay, so lots of messages there. What we will do is we'll save this and we can share it, and then people can share it more and more. Any signposting from you, Kiran, for people that want to know more? Where do you get your information from?
What I will do, I'll share on my story. I'll put a post tagging all the accounts that I actually follow and that I find that are very informative. There's also a Telegram group that I'm in, and that's quite informative as well. They send updates on the mortar quite frequently, so I will share the code and how to do that. And yeah, but my main message would be to everyone: be involved. This is not a one-day thing. This is an everyday thing. People are dying, families are suffering. Fathers. Everyone is there, and you know what, you got to think about the family that's actually left behind. They're surviving by themselves, but yeah. And of course I would say that it's important to encourage everyone. I know there is a lot of controversy with different people, but I feel like now's not the time for it. We need to support each person that has stood for the mortar, because them would, in some aspect or not, they wouldn't have reached where we are today. They are equally important, just because, and there's quite a lot of youngsters that have actually gone to jail for peacefully protesting, which I believe is completely wrong. And I feel like we need to also stand in support for them, because if we don't stand in support for them, our younger generation is going to keep on getting demotivated. And I would appeal to the leaders of the mortar: please stand with everyone, all the youngsters that are in jail, stand with them, because each time you refuse to, stand with them, you leave them, you give them names, it's not fair, because they did come here for a purpose. They came there for the same purpose as what they're standing for now. And if you're just going to let them go like that, it's going to create more fear in other people that we can't go. That's what my one appeal would be to all the mortar leaders.
Well said. I know I feel there's a lack of sophistication to be able to deal with different issues, and that's why we've ended up in this sort of polarized community now, where you've either got the youngsters or the old. But I know you've received some hostility on social media, and as I said earlier, when our daughter did her video, she received some hostility as well. What do you think about those people that just think it's okay to throw abuse at somebody just because you're expressing your opinion, or try and corner you into believing what they believe in?
No, I would say it's completely wrong. If someone challenges your thought, you challenge their thought back, because of course, let's say if someone's challenging your thought and you don't respond to it, it makes you doubt yourself, it makes you think, oh, what's this thing? So, stick to what you believe. If someone's challenging you, stand up against it. Don't just let people talk. Ignore the hate, because these are people that are just trying to demotivate the mortar, bring the mortar down. No, you guys need to stand up. Every time, this is my appeal also to the youngsters: if you see someone sharing a post on the mortar, like it, comment on it, because that encourages that same person to keep on posting again and again and again. So stop. This hate needs to stop, because that's going to be the reason that we all fall down, the whole mortar is brought down. Stand with each other, support each other. Everyone is valuable to this mortar equally. Doesn't matter if we're here, there, wherever. Speak to the youngsters that are in India, encourage them, be like, to see Gaini, why haven't you guys gone? You know, just encourage them, give them that, oh my god, they're saying, oh, because I've noticed that some people have seen me posting about it, and they're like, oh, Baru Kuri nu kidda pata, how does she know about this? Why is she and that, you know, that sits in their head, like, yo, they're outside speaking about it, but I'm here and I'm just sitting here and I'm scared to speak about it, but why? You know, that would also be a message.
Brilliant. And don't be deterred. I think when people choose to try and bully people, especially younger generation, try to bully or throw abuse, it says more about their mindset. So, you know, don't be deterred. I would say to anybody, don't be deterred. Give as good as you get. Or if it's just really ridiculous, use that block button, because some people are just on social media just to upset others. So, you know, everybody's entitled to their opinion. We get a lot of abuse for supporting some of the younger guys. And actually, some of these people we've been following for years, and we know exactly where they're coming from. And that, you know, you can't shy away from that. So if you believe in something, don't ever shy away from supporting it. Now, a lot of people said Punjabi de vich gal karo, jaan ke nahi Punjabi de vich gal kiti, kyunki ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬਾਹਰ youngsters ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਤੱਕ ਗੱਲ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ, ਤਾਂ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਚ ਕਰਦੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਤੱਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਇੰਨੀ ਚੰਗੀ ਅੰਡਰਸਟੈਂਡਿੰਗ ਹੋਣੀ ਸੀਗੀ, ਪਰ ਗਾਹਾਂ ਫਿਊਚਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਚ ਕਰੂੰਗੇ। ਸੋ ਸੌਰੀ ਜੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਸਮਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗੀ, ਮਾਫੀ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ, ਪਰ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਗਾਹਾਂ ਕਰੂੰਗੇ। ਪਰ ਮੇਨ ਮਕਸਦ ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਇਹ ਸੀਗਾ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਯੰਗਰ ਜਨਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਬਾਹਰ ਬੈਠੀ ਆ, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਇੰਨੀ ਚੰਗੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੀ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਥੋੜੀ ਸਮਝ ਲੱਗੇ ਵੀ ਹੋ ਕੀ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ। Yeah. Anything more you want to say, Kiran?
No, that's it. All I would say is that if these bills do go ahead, all of the children, they're going to be brought into child labour. The right to education is going to be gone because families can't fund the education there. Families are going to fall into debt. That's going to lead to suicides. Parents children losing their parents. There's not going to be anything left. You know, of course, back in history, when the British had ruled India, we were stuck with them for 62 years until Bhagat Singh and Udham Singh rised. If we don't have youngsters stepping up like how they did, we're not going to have anything. We're going to be slaves to India, and this is our future ahead. That's what I can see for tomorrow. And I don't want to see Punjab or India in 10 years' time. You know, just people on the roads. It's already in a bad state, and it's just going to get even more worse day by day if this continues.
Well said, and it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you.
Thank you.
I really, really admire your courage and your strength and confidence, and I'm sure you're going to go further and further and carry on developing and being a role model for others. So well done.
Thank you so much. Thank you for bringing this. All right.
No problem at all, and hopefully we might speak soon again. You never know. Let's see what unfolds over the next few weeks. And I will be looking for more live people, so if anybody else has got a live they want to do, just inbox me and I'm happy to arrange it, and probably next week. But well done, Kiran, and we'll put this out soon.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye bye.